police used an unusual and brand new technique to stop the car.
Forget Hollywood movies. These real-life police chases will have you on the edge of your seat. From stopping narco subs in the middle of the ocean to police vehicles breaking the wings of aircraft, these chases are unlike anything you have seen on screen. So prepare to enter a world where cops are as sharp as they come, stopping suspects in some very unique ways. Let's get right into the heart-pounding realm of police chases. Number 1. Tire trauma. On August 28, 2022, an Arkansas state trooper spotted a white Nissan Armada driving erratically. The trooper pulled up next to the car at an intersection after observing the driver's behavior, concluded that he was probably under the influence. So, he decided to follow along. Soon enough, he clocked the Nissan speeding over 65 miles per hour in a 30 miles per hour zone. The trooper hadn't even turned on his lights yet, but the driver knew the trooper was onto him. At the next intersection, the driver kept reaching for something on the passenger seat, like he was trying to hide a secret snack stash. When the light turned green, the trooper turned on his lights, and the suspect, already paranoid, decided to floor it. Less than 2 minutes into the chase, the Nissan's right rear tire gave up on life. But the driver wasn't about to quit. He kept pushing the car, swerving across lanes like he was playing Mario Kart to block the trooper from overtaking. Eventually, he pulled into a parking lot. The trooper got out and asked him to roll down the window and show his hands.
Hey, show me your hands. Roll that window down. Roll the window down. Put your hands out the window. Because I told you to.
Instead, the guy floored it again. By now, that flat tire was completely gone, making the car look even more ridiculous. The trooper caught up and executed a pity maneuver, sending the Nissan spinning off the road. That should have been the end of pursuit, but the suspect, once again not complying with orders, decided to bolt on 3 functional tires. The trooper, now thoroughly done with this nonsense, performed another pit maneuver. This time the car spun 90 degrees, and the trooper wanted to make sure he didn't get away this time, so he continued to ram the white Nissan, and half of it ended up on the hood of the patrol car. Now that's some next-level pit maneuvering, lifting half the suspect's car off the ground. Number 2. Boxed in. November 12, 2021. A minivan driver on the New Jersey Turnpike thought he didn't need to bother stopping after getting involved in a traffic incident. When the police unit approached the minivan and lights started flashing instead of pulling over, the driver hit the gas and kept going. Backup was called in, and soon more than a dozen police cars were tailing this minivan, and the scene was pure Hollywood. Flashing lights, revving engines, and a minivan that refused to call it quits. After a few minutes, the police decided to get creative. One police car sped ahead of the minivan, while 2 others closed in from the sides. The minivan driver tried to swerve past the lead car, and for a moment, it felt like he had succeeded, but not for long. The units again surrounded the car, and the lead police car began to slow down, with the minivan boxed in and desperately looking for an exit. As the front car hit the brakes, the game was up. The minivan was trapped with nowhere to go. This slick maneuver is known as Tactical Pursuit and Containment, or TPAC, where multiple police vehicles work together to surround the fleeing car, restrict its movements, and bring it to a safe stop without causing a crash and burn. Number 3. Stop sticks. Sometimes drivers are so skillful and fast that cops can't catch up to them to perform a pit maneuver or box them in. That's when the police bring out the stop sticks. These super cool tools use spikes to puncture tires, deflating them slowly instead of causing a dangerous blowout. To make stop sticks work their magic, cops need a steady hand and quick reflexes. They guide the sticks with a string to ensure the suspect's car runs over them. Let's take a look at an Ohio State Highway Patrol officer using stop sticks like a pro to stop a stolen Challenger Hellcat. Our trooper pulls up on the side of the road and gets ready in the other lane. He deploys the stop sticks where his patrol unit is parked. Here is the clever part. When the suspect sees the cop car and something lying on the road next to it, they will naturally switch lanes. The trooper, hiding behind the guardrail, pulls the string to drag the sticks under the suspect's car. With perfect timing, the high-speed car hits the stop sticks with all 4 tires. Soon, the car's tires are going to give up. The cop hops back in his car and catches up, finding the suspects forced to stop and now trying to flee on foot. He spots them casually strolling through a parking lot, pretending they have no clue why the police are there. Nice try, buddy, but you are not fooling anyone. Number 4, grappler. Pity maneuvers are super cool to watch, but they can be risky, like one time a pity maneuver flipped a car with a pregnant woman inside. And let's not forget, even stop sticks have resulted in fatalities in the past.
Police use an unusual and brand new technique to stop the car.
So, when it comes to ending a high-speed chase in the most controlled and awesome way, the grappler takes the win. Typically mounted on the front of a police car, the grappler is deployed at the push of a button. An iron arm holding a heavy-duty nylon net extends forward, and when the police car gets close enough, it slides the net under the rear tire of the suspect's vehicle. As soon as the tire runs over the net, the nylon mesh snags the tire, stopping its rotation and bringing the chase to a controlled stop. Now let's check out the grappler in action. First up, we have a suspect who was passed out in his car with a knife and a gun. When the police woke him up, he rammed his car into the officers and fled. Near Interstate 10 in Phoenix, police used an undercover car as a decoy. When the decoy car passed the suspect, making him slow down, the police car behind deployed the grappler and stopped the car. The suspect kept hitting the gas, but there was no escaping the high-duty nylon snagging his tire. Next, we have a van that didn't pull over for a traffic stop. When the Kansas City police got the word it was a stolen vehicle, they deployed the grappler, got up close, and boom! The tire was immobilized, and that's how you easily stop the bad guys. Number 5. Aid by cops. You usually hear about suspects messing with the wrong cops, but this suspect messed with the wrong cows. These cows were not fans of an uninvited guest showing up on their turf in the middle of the night. They gave the suspect a tough time by following and jumping around, turning the police chase into a full-on cow chase. The unexpected bovine backup helped the officers arrest the suspect. Time to add some Cow9 units to the force? Number 6. Officer K9s. On a fine Saturday afternoon, February 17, 2024, Wilshire Division officers were out on their routine patrol when their automatic license plate reader flagged a car ahead as stolen. Time to spring into action. They quickly initiated a traffic stop, but of course, this guy wasn't about to pull over. The officers confirmed the vehicle was stolen and called for backup. The high-speed chase was cut short when the suspect rammed into another car while making a turn and decided to flee on foot. The officers couldn't keep up as he leapt over a fence into a random yard. The police quickly set up a perimeter, but how to locate the suspect? Enter the specialized K9 unit. Our ferocious furry friend didn't have a hard job. He found the suspect in seconds, casually slipping out of someone's house. In the blink of an eye, the suspect's hand was clamped down by the K9. The suspect had the audacity to run again after the officer commanded the dog to back off. It's crazy how he didn't learn the lesson after nearly losing his hand. However, his second escape attempt was also a fail. Almost a block away, he found himself facing another K9, only managing to fend it off with a chair. Trapped in a dead end and probably terrified of another bite, he finally surrendered and was transported to the hospital for his injuries. Number 7. Textbook Pit. 3 burglary suspects were on the run in the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles when they were stopped in a way nothing short of poetry. On August 16, 2023, 3 suspects in a dark gray Mercedes sedan with tinted windows were driving through Southern California, pursued by the LAPD during evening rush hour. The suspects maintained a speed of over 50 miles per hour while weaving through traffic. The LAPD was unable to stop them initially, but they were joined by the California Highway Patrol. After more than an hour of high-speed chase, the suspects pulled off the 215 freeway. This was when one of the CHP units was able to catch up and perform the perfect pit maneuver every officer dreams of. The Mercedes spun a full 180 degrees, ending up facing another unit of cops, completely blocked in. Realizing they had lost, the driver surrendered and obediently complied with all commands. The hour-long chase ended with the perfect, satisfying conclusion for everyone watching. Number 8. Fiery chase. Lastly, we have a police chase that will never be topped. On November 7, 2001, 42-year-old Bernice Wilson had enough of his boring, unemployed life and decided to go wild. He stole a tractor-trailer rig loaded with lumber and drove it around Dallas, Texas, like it was a scooter. Bystanders gathered to watch this entertaining police chase, and Wilson, the mad lad that he was, even gave a high five to a person while being pursued by the police. The police couldn't pit maneuver the truck and were completely baffled about how to end it. Just when you thought things couldn't get any wilder, the rear tires caught on fire, and now the vehicle was speeding along with an inferno, leaving a trail of thick black smoke. The police had enough of this and deployed a tactical team to stop the madness. This team is basically allowed to use deadly force against anyone endangering lives. Wilson had another dangerous idea to outsmart the police. He released the lumber logs, which started falling out of the truck, nearly hitting a school bus. But once his tires got stuck for a few moments in the median of the highway, a tactical team officer jumped out of the car, took aim, and fired shots at him. Although the chase continued for a while, the police were successful in injuring Wilson. Wounded and tired, he had no choice but to stop voluntarily. And so, what started as a wild rampage finally came to an end, proving that even the most chaotic escapades can't outrun the law. Number 9. Live stream. Cops indeed perform heroic acts to save lives and catch suspects, but let's take a moment to appreciate the emergency dispatch centers. These centers effectively convey crucial information to the police and spread messages to other cops. With almost everyone using a smartphone now, emergency services have taken things to the next level with new technology like Prepared Live. Using this technology, they were able to arrest a burglar when 911 received a call on February 25, 2024. The caller reported a suspect trying to open a car door with a screwdriver. Ashley Hicks from the 911 department asked the caller if she could access her phone camera. After getting consent, she sent a link that started a video stream, just like FaceTime. Thanks to the live stream, the 911 operators provided emergency responders with real-time updates about the suspect, helping officers locate the suspect hiding under the stairs. And guess what? The burglar turned out to be a 12-year-old boy. This is what advancing technology should be doing, making the community safer. So next time you see a crime happening, just call 911 and let them see through your phone. Number 10. Plane stop. You will forget all the other chases after watching this one. The Federal Police of Brazil located a plane full of drugs, and the smugglers were just about to make their grand escape by taking off. But before they could get airborne, the police SUV rammed into the plane, taking out the aircraft's wing. And get this, it was no accident. The driver calmly told the officer with the rifle, "Don't shoot, I will hit the wing." I mean, this is straight out of an action movie script. Number 11, perfect throw. Pulling the string to bring stop sticks under a suspect's car is one thing, but what this officer did will make you want to hit replay again and again. After receiving information about a car speeding over 100 miles per hour on the freeway and trying to hit police cars, Deputy Christie, who was being featured on the Cops TV show, joined the pursuit. The suspect was weaving in and out of lanes, trying to get away, but Officer Russ Martin was waiting further down the highway with stop sticks. While all the other cops thought he would lay them down on the road, Martin had a better plan. He waited for the suspect's car, which was barreling toward him at over 90 miles per hour. Then, with perfect timing and precision, Martin threw the stop sticks. He didn't just toss them, he glided them perfectly to ensure all 4 tires would hit the spikes. Judging the car's speed and managing the throw so accurately is just insanely impressive. Thanks to Martin's perfect throw, the suspect's car tires flattened and the chase came to an end. Number 12, Coast Guards. Now let's take a break from land and watch a chase on the high seas. On June 18, 2019, the Coast Guard in the eastern Pacific Ocean spotted a narco sub, a semi-submersible vessel tearing through the water. The officer on the Coast Guard cutter Monroe's ship yelled at the unidentified sub to stop, while another officer pointed out that getting on it would be tricky. But these officers patrolling the sea are fearless. As their boat got close to the submarine, they leapt out, climbed on top of the moving vessel, and started banging on the hatch. The man inside, seeing their determination, opened the hatch with his hands up. The Coast Guard then seized a whopping 17,000 pounds of cocaine, worth more than $500 million. Now that's what you call catching a big fish. Number 13, through the bushes. Cops on a routine patrol unit got an alert from the license plate reader about a stolen vehicle on the road. It was no ordinary stolen vehicle, but one which was carjacked at gunpoint. Officers initiated a traffic stop, but the suspect was not ready to be busted, so he sped away, starting a high-speed chase. However, a few miles later, the car was found abandoned near an apartment complex. To locate the suspects, the cops brought in their award-winning K9, Endo. Endo led the officers through the bushes, first picking up the scent and finding the suspect's sandals, then tracking them down behind a dumpster. The suspects tried to play it cool, claiming they were just hanging out behind the dumpster for fun, but their stories fell apart when their identities were matched. Nice try, but Endo's nose never fails. Number 14, parkour. This suspect thought his jumping abilities would help him escape, but joke's on him, the officer chasing him turned out to be a parkour pro. Jumping over fences and walls, the officer stayed hot on his trail. When the suspect made a dramatic leap over a door, the officer simply used his common sense, opened it, and caught up to apprehend the suspect. Number 15, hitchhiking. 2 officers showed up in White Settlement responding to reports of a stolen car. Before they could even have a quick chat with the suspect, he took off running, and the officers sprinted after him. Let's just say one of the officers hadn't been keeping up with his cardio and quickly fell behind. Enter the Good Samaritan, who offered the officer a ride to help with the pursuit. He dropped off the officer like it was no big deal and went on his way. By the time our hitchhiking officer caught up, the other officer already had the suspect on the ground. So folks, sometimes you don't just witness a chase, you can be part of it, especially if a lagging officer needs a lift. Number 16. Distracted. No grapplers, no risky pit maneuvers, no stop sticks. Sometimes all you need to end a lengthy chase is a bit of smooth talking. This CHP officer managed to distract a suspect who had been on the run by reasoning with him. In the heat of the moment, while the suspect was trying to prove his point, he didn't realize he was being surrounded. 3 more CHP units showed up, boxing him in from all sides with no room to escape. The suspect got out of the car, trying to act tough, but it was time to drop the act because resisting was only going to add more charges. Number 17, enough. This suspect was running circles in a field with cop cars in hot pursuit and 2 helicopters monitoring from above. But one of the helicopter pilots had enough of this drama. He decided to take matters into his own hands by dashing toward the suspect and executing a perfect tackle. With those legs and that technique, he probably was a Division I football player in high school. Number 18. Just a push. Now we have the craziest attempt at fleeing from the cops, which is hilarious due to its sheer stupidity, not intensity. On February 13, 2023, after stealing a truck with a dumping trailer attached, this suspect was tearing through the neighborhood. Fortunately, it was early in the morning, so there weren't many people outside and not many lives were in danger. However, it seems he missed physics class in school because, with that big dumping trailer on the back, his erratic driving was only going to make him lose control faster. And that's exactly what happened. The trailer hit a parked car first, and then the truck lost traction in the middle of an intersection, bringing the high-speed chase to an abrupt end. But our suspect wasn't done yet. He still had some wheels for a getaway. He got out of the truck, hopped on his skateboard, and took off, momentarily confusing the cops. His innovative escape style was slick, but only for a few meters before a little push sent him to the ground. To top it all off, he was wearing a reflective vest, making sure no police could miss him. Number 19. A swim. While pursuing a suspect, Atlanta police officers had to take off their duty belts. Why? Because the suspect decided to abandon his car and dive into a lake. This chase turned into a triathlon, with officers jumping into the water to stop the guy before he could reach the other side. I mean, if you are not that good of a swimmer, why even try that? These suspects will do anything instead of just complying and surrendering. Number 20. Bike chase. Next up, we have one of the most epic police chases of all time. On June 9, 2020, 2 men snatched a bag containing a phone and some cash from a person in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. However, just a few moments later, undercover policemen on Yamaha Exciter 135cc motorcycles spotted them speeding and began chasing them, suspecting the bikers of robbing someone. Talk about perfect intuition. The chase was intense. These robbers thought they could speed away, but they had no idea how insanely skilled this officer was at riding. Even with sharp turns and vehicles zooming by, nothing could slow him down. This officer looked like he could compete in MotoGP with the way he was riding. The officer kept the throttle maxed out, making skillful turns that would make any pro racer proud. Eventually, the suspects lost control while trying to make a sharp turn and crashed at an intersection. Why were they even running? Did they really think they could escape on foot after failing to shake the officers on bikes? The officers quickly tackled both suspects, who turned out to be not only robbers, but also high on narcotics. To top it all off, their bike burst into flames shortly after the arrest. Now that's what I call a dramatic finish. With that, our action-packed journey comes to an end. These chases weren't just about adrenaline, they were also about skillful cops protecting innocent lives from these suspects going crazy on the road. So doesn't it feel good watching them get served with justice? Tell me in the comments which one of these clips you found most crazy. Oh, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one coming your way. Until then, goodbye.